Hi, this is Jeff Kramer from the DevX team. In this screencast, I'm going to talk about our third category of HP Cloud agents. These are service prototype or tutorial-centric solution agents. These are agents that connect to a bunch of different services to create something with sort of end value. So, for instance, if we have a new user coming onto the system who hasn't used a cloud before, it takes a lot of explaining to understand what object storage is, what compute is, how you assign floating IPs, how you SSH into a machine, how you install software if they haven't used Ubuntu before. It's a very high cliff to climb to get to doing anything. With these agents, we feel like we can build something that makes almost one-button installs for a lot of common software stacks that let people play with them really easily without having to worry about the nuts and bolts. And we can build follow-on tutorials like, okay, fill out this form, set up your WordPress server, and then follow this to install, say, an HP Cloud Storage CDN WordPress plugin for your files, or things like that. So the agent we've built is an Apache install agent. Let's call this Drupal setup. We're going to run it once. Start immediately. We're going to call this new server Drupal 4. We're going to set it up in EZ2. Pick a key pair. Pick a flavor. Pick a security group. And we're going to install Drupal. And we're going to go ahead and create. So what this agent does is it goes out and it makes sure that a lot of prerequisites exist. So does the key pair you wanted us to use actually exist? Does the flavor, does the image exist? Does the group exist? If all of that works out, then we can probably set up our new server. Because we don't have access to the user's private key pair information, we create a new temporary key pair for them that we know. And then we SSH into the machine once it's up, and we reset the key pair to whatever key pair they requested that we use. That way, once the server's up and running, they can SSH in with the key pair that they set up in the management console. We never have to know about that key pair. And our key pair, theoretically, no longer works. So you can see we're going through the progress. This sometimes takes a while, depending on how long it takes to install Apache and MySQL and some other things. So we've SSH'd into the server. We're connected. We have reset our temporary key pair. We're installing Apache and PHP 5. We've installed Apache. You can see in our UI we have a messages tab, and you can see the output of the commands themselves because of the way we've written this agent. So it's going to install MySQL. So it's installing these things with standard commands that if you were writing a text tutorial you would use. So, okay, next copy and paste this line that does sudo apt-get install MySQL-server or something like that. But instead of having a user do that, potentially accident-prone, we script it all into the agent, so we know how it was done. But it uses the same thing. So we can take any recipe that we've built for anything else and turn it into an agent fairly easily. So we've installed MySQL. We have restarted Apache with some new configuration options. We've created a new database for Drupal. We've created a random password for that Drupal user and saved it into the Drupal configuration. Then we downloaded Drush, which is the Drupal shell tool, and Drupal itself. We created a temporary admin password for Drupal. And then we checked whether or not the server was actually running. It was successful, and it is now complete. We should get an activation email with information in it, but for now, we can load this page, and it is Drupal 4. And we can copy this admin password, So now our server's up and running, and we can SSH into it with our selected key. So for instance, I can do sh in EZ2 Ubuntu at and the server's IP address. And here's our machine, Drupal 4. And there is Apache. So with a tool like this, we can make it easier for new developers, new engineers, people who want to use the HP cloud but aren't very experienced with the cloud. We can get them up to speed really quickly. So that's the Apache install agent. It's just an example of one of the things that we can do in the agent's infrastructure.